What's going on, guys? Young46 had someone ask a question, and it involves spin. When to use topspin, when to use backspin, and certain situations. So thought I would talk a little bit about spin. A lot about spin has to do with your balls and your wedges and that combination. The combination I have a very high spinning golf ball with a wedge that has a lot of spin. So for me, backspin can be very dangerous. And I'll show you why on this shot. This is hole 10 at Pebble. Just thought I'd pick an easy one where I didn't have to play half a course to get to a hole. Let's say, we've got a downhill shot here, and I'm just going to put a little bit of spin on this just to show you. I'm going to put about half. Okay, and this is going to play about 71 yards. So this should land about pin high, and then you'll see how much spin these wedges generate. So landed good, landed very nicely. However, you can see a shot that landed pin high, now we have 9 yards. So we have to be very careful. And again, that's on your combination. If I were to be using, even a rock right here, a rock's going to spin back pretty good simply because of the amount of spin my wedges generate. So we're going to try this shot again, except this time we're going to use neutral spin. And I still think we get some backspin. So I'm going to land this at 73, which is about 1.5 yards long. Pulled it a little bit. So we landed about 1 yard long, and we came back. Personally, I prefer neutral spin, especially with my setup. Again, if I want to hold this shot, I like to land it a little long, know my slope, and let it come back to the hole. Now, another option is topspin. Sometimes we want to use topspin. There are certain holes, say Oakmont number 2, if you're playing a wedge shot in and you have, let's say, 14 greens. I've hit neutral spin wedges into that hole before, into a headwind, landed pin high, and rolled back off the green. So in that case, I want to use topspin. And again, you can chart it just like anything else, just like backspin, neutral. Just go into practice mode and just simply chart it. So if we're here, I want to land this. I want to land it a little short of the hole, actually. So I want to land it about 70, somewhere around about there, because I think it's going to release up a little bit. I think it's going to take one hop and stop. So there's one hop and stop. So just like that. And different situations dictate my spin. But you can see with full top, that ball didn't just take off and release. And I think a lot of players get under the assumption. Now, if we have lesser wedges and balls, yes, it's definitely going to do that. It becomes very unreliable at that point because we don't have the spin on the clubs or the balls to control it more. But with these clubs, absolutely, you can use top and it's very predictable. If I'm hitting a punch shot in, obviously this situation doesn't call for a punch whatsoever, but I would use full back here. Reason being because I'm not hitting a full swing. It's just like to think if you were on a golf course and your wedge went 100 yards, but you're only going to hit it 70. There would be, let's say, 70%. Let's equate it 1-to-1 here. So a 70% swing means I'm not going to generate as much backspin. So that would be the same case with the punches. If I'm hitting a full punch, I might generate a little bit of backspin here. However, because I'm only hitting, let's say 88% or something, I don't even know if that's the right number, but it's not going to spin back a whole lot because of that. So it would pretty much just hit and stop. And you can pretty much play that pretty reliably. And with especially with a 56, even if I were to hit this full, I don't think we're going to get much backspin. I lied on that part. So we actually did get a decent amount of backspin. But you can see the difference in the backspin between hitting 88% and 100%. So you have to be mindful of that. And again, you can punch it with full top too. So I can go down to my 68 and put full top on this, and it should be pretty good. About 99% full top. And it should release out a little more than my full wedge just because of the trajectory of the club. There you have it. So again, something you just need to go find out which clubs release, and then you've got to know a little bit about the holes. You have to know, which holes are receptive to spin and which holes you can be a little more aggressive with. So play around with top spin, backspin, learn it all, guys. Go into practice mode, write down your distances, learn each percentage. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me.